the simple sound check before we really jump into it. So I ask all my listeners, what'd you have for breakfast this morning?
For breakfast this morning?
Yeah, what'd you have for breakfast?
Oh, cool. To be honest, this is the most important meal in my whole day. So, like always, I would drink coffee and have some pieces of bread. That's it. Very simple, and that's my daily routine.
Awesome. Anything fancy on that bread? You go on butter, peanut butter, jelly, some preserves? What do you put on that bread?
Good question. Just some scrambled eggs, I would say.
Okay. All right. Tasty and simple breakfast to get you going there. So awesome. Well, I think we're all sounding good here. Why don't we jump into actually why we're talking? So why don't you tell my listeners who you are and what your project is over on Kickstarter?
Okay, thank you. So my name is Ruxin, and I'm currently in charge of the global marketing and product solutions in Beijing Ke Tech. And we just launched our new generation product, Clicbot, on Kickstarter. And this is our new consumer product. It has the feature of the modular technology, which makes it a very cool toy for kids as well as the parents. So we would say it's a very perfect gift for the whole family. Well, the children can learn how to programming, and the parents can teach them how to do this, like developing and creating stuff, so that they can learn the engineering knowledge and the basic theory behind all the robotics stuff.
That's cool. So for our listeners who can't see it right now, let's say they're they're right on a subway and they don't have Kickstarter open right now, and they're just listening. Can you visually kind of describe what we're talking about when it comes to Clicbot and the robot, and kind of what it looks like and how people use it?
Cool. So it started pretty simple, and I would say that our founder, Jay, he was a very cool engineer, and he just, got up the idea of how to simplify the technology of robotics, especially, for kids around 6 or 7 years old. They're very, curious about everything. Especially when you are an engineer and you got a niece or a nephew, and then they would just come over to you and ask about everything. They would ask about mechanisms. They would ask about the controlling stuff. But how to simplify all this, the scientific languages and interpret them to better explain to kids. So that's a trick point. And how Jay solved this problem is to just to simplify all this technology into the small modules. And we call each modules, like the joint and for a little ball, and the brain for the main control part, and the smart food for the smart, like the force detector. And then we have the skeleton for the extension module. Maybe you can already generate a rough picture, like an overview of the whole product. I would say it just breaks all the complicated parts into the different modules. So different modules they would serve the different function, either for like the servo, like the controlling, like all the detection of the sensors, and then you can just simply put them together. I would say that, like for a kid who is only like 6 years old, he can easily manipulate all the modules and then come up with a cool setup within 5 minutes. And think about that. That's pretty cool. When a little kid, they can, like show the setup to his friends, to his families, and just, introduce the setup to them and say, check it out. I just built a robot within 5 minutes. And that would be awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, for people who haven't looked at it yet, and I strongly recommend going over to their Kickstarter page and clicking around. But, I love, I was just watching some videos and I saw stuff of one looked like a snake and it's moving stuff. Then they turn into race cars. I saw something climbing a wall. So really, it's almost anything you can imagine, it feels like, as long as you have these modular parts and you build it and then you code it correctly, right? I mean, that's kind of what I was seeing. Yeah,
Yeah,
super, super
exactly.
awesome. I could definitely say I've got a 9-year-old son at home who is on his iPad. I can tell you right now, probably making a song or doing something on an app, and he would totally be into this. Are you finding that really is that audience what's the age range, do you think, that of somebody that's jumping into this?
Thank you so much for the question. That's actually an important part to explain the product. So before I was introducing about the modular technology, and Jeff, you're pointing out another part for our like the concept of the product. What we would like to do is to introduce the programming, the coding skills to all the children. So the idea behind that is to use either graphic programming, or if they've already had some, like previous bases or knowledge before, they can even use our Python API as well. So for this part, actually, our product is targeting on the children aging from, I would say, 6 years old to even 15 years old, depending how you manipulate the product. And it's also very suitable for the parents as well. So like I introduced before, it's a product for the whole family, meaning that if the parents have already, got some engineering or programming basis before, they can do the developing on the basis as well. We have some out-of-the-box functions and modulars as well, but we can also do the API, like advanced programming as well. So it's suitable for both kids and parents, depending on how you expecting the product. It's very it's very scalable and extensive.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like to me, is that it basically just goes where your imagination goes, right? Like, so when you're on the Kickstarter, like when you're buying sort of like the base unit, what is coming at that point, and then how do you sort of add on to make more things, or do you get everything right away to be able to make, a snake, a car, spider thing I saw? Like, does that come out of the box right away?
Oh, very cool. So we have different levels for the packages, meaning that starting from the very simple starter kit to the standard kit, and then we have the full kit, and then level up to the maker kit. So if you are just, like someone interested in robotics, you can just get a taste from, like the starter kit. But if you've already have some skills before, and then you can just you can definitely just go straight up to the maker kit. So in the maker kit, like you said before, you can definitely make a spider or a snake or different quadruped setups, because we have the most modules in the maker kit available for the backers. If you just started from the starter kit, that's a little bit limited, because like the quantity of the modules and the type of the modules, because like you mentioned before, if you would like to get a setup which is able to climb up the wall, then definitely it would have the suction cup module. Mm-hmm. So, like it can jump and, like climb up on the wall. But right. Starting from the basic one, you can you can just get the basic setup, which is showing on our package, just like the beak and the back. That's the two characters we would provide to the backers, and they are the pretty basic characters, and they are also the official setups, and we have lots of out-of-the-box functions and human-robot interactions, like built in, and that comes with the starter kit.
Gotcha. That's very cool. Very, very cool. So, what kind of software then is this using on these the devices, on the iPads and the Android? Is it Android and iPad? I guess I don't really know between those two, but what's the software that's running the programming for this?
Mm-hmm. That's a good question, because a lot of backers have already asked about this, because we mentioned it on the website and we mentioned it in the main video as well. So we will have the Clicbot app available in in May, because currently our estimated delivery time for all the packages, like ordered by the backers on Kickstarter, would be in the late June, meaning that currently we've already had pretty much a lot of the stocks in the factories, and we are very on schedule. Everything is fine. It's not delayed by the coronavirus at all. Everything would be fine, and the package would go in June. And before that, like I said before, that would be in May, when the app would be released. So the app would be available on both iOS and Android platforms. That's the Apple Store and Google Play. And then all the backers would be able to download the Clicbot app, where we offer the Clicbot Academy for them, and they can share all the things like the videos, the pictures they take for the product, for the setups they made, and then upload to the community so that they can share this to the whole world, and then communicate how they build their robots.
Yeah, I thought that was something that was intriguing too. Is the I think you called it the academy, where you had training and you had resources, and it seems like a ton of guides. I mean, for what I was looking there, just that alone seems like a ton of work that had to be put into this project as well.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So the idea behind that is that we've noticed the trend all over the world that people are using the short videos to share, like both the information and the knowledge. And we think it's a cool idea. It's a very cool idea. I mean, like for the robot setups, sometimes some people would find it pretty, like too scientific, too techy stuff. But what if we just share the cool ideas, or like the fun moments you spend with a robot? Like the moment you're sharing with your friends or your families, that'll be great. I mean, like nobody really cares about the complicated theory or like the technology behind it. They just want to see how cool it is and how fun it is, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome. How long has this process to get to an idea to the Kickstarter, and to get your 1,600 orders, give or take, right now? But like, how long does this process take to get to this point?
Yeah, so it started like 2.5 years ago, because before that we have this first generation product called a Cell Robot, and that was on Kickstarter as well. I would say like around roughly 3 or 4 years before, and then we also participate the CES in the States as well, and then during CES, which is this January. And lots of people have already noticed this product, but we haven't launched it yet, because we just released it in March on Kickstarter. So that's the first time we showed this product to the whole world. But already on CES, lots of people saw it, and if you Google it, Google it with Clicbot, you would see some media reports and some video shots on Clicbot already in January, but I would say that the idea started pretty like 2 years before, after we had the first generation product, and then we realized that it's not really for for consumer, for family. It's most for the I would say for institutes, for schools, but when it comes to the 2C product, we would prefer that we have the newly designed, and the modules can be smaller, and the design can be more delicate, and after that, we really made it. And so here we go. We presented it in CES, and then we brought it to Kickstarter. And very soon, like in June, we would have all the packages ready for the delivery. And every backer, I would say like all over the world, they would be thrilled to have their package and they would see by themselves, because what they believe is what we believe, and we are so proud to prove that we really made it, and that's the truth. And because lots of people have, like they judged us on Facebook when they saw the ad, and they saw that, oh my God, that's just CGI. We don't believe this stuff. But yeah, because that looks too cool to be real. I have to say. But that's the fact, and we are proud to let the whole world know this. And we know that the lockdown period has, driven lots of people to mad. But we hope this little stuff, this Clicbot, they can, they can be happy when they receive our package.
Yeah, very, 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 very cool. Well, let's flip over. So, this is the second time the company's ran a Kickstarter. I mean, obviously first time for this product, but how did the conversations kind of happen internally around wanting to use Kickstarter again? Why go to this as opposed to maybe just launching it on your own website? What were some of the benefits that you guys saw as to doing a Kickstarter for it?
Okay, that's great. Because, I think I just mentioned before, because backers are the most passionate groups in the whole world. They believe in tech, they believe in the bright future, and they believe in some things that they probably, some things that's out of the imaginations, or some other people they probably won't believe. And that's a cool point, because for us, we are some engineers, and we are thrilled. We have the passion for the technology, but sometimes it's really hard for, other people to get, to get understand of the concepts or the ideas. But when it comes to the backers, to the Kickstarter community, everything is different. We feel, we can be understood, and we can get connected to someone in this big, big world, and to someone when they send us the message, when they ask us questions, we can feel the connection. We can feel that they really want to see the product or to have the product. And it cheers us up. And this is the motivation for us, to tackle down every bug we have during the development, to, solve the problems, to, polish the design, to get Clicbot better. Because each time when we have the communication on Kickstarter, and that's, a little push for us to get closer to a more perfect product. And we feel very, very thrilled to share this pride with the backers all over the world. And thank you, Jeff, for, letting me have this chance to say it out, because, I'm getting emotional because of this question, but thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, no problem. It's all great. So what were some of maybe the milestones that you wanted to hit internally for this Kickstarter? Maybe some of the metrics you were looking at, so again, let's say somebody else is thinking about, working on a tech project, what should they be thinking about in terms of, that, I mean, you had a public goal of 25,000. And I should actually mention, I don't even think we've mentioned this yet, but I mean, you guys raised almost over $900,000 with over 1,600 backers. So very, 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 very successful campaign. So to get to that, what were some of the metrics you guys were thinking about with Facebook ads and emails, and just internally, what did you want to see before you hit that launch button?
Great. So, as everybody would understand, it's not very easy to, harness all the mechanisms behind it, or, to get the best marketing strategy. Before we go to Kickstarter, like I said, we went to CES, and that's a good, a good attempt, a good trial to test the market. And to that point, we understand that it's the right way, and our product can be very popular, and it attracts some attention. We just need to, dive in, and then keep on the good status. So when it comes to Kickstarter, obviously, we spend pretty much a lot of the, the budget on the ads on Facebook or on Instagram, because that's where, young people, they hang out. And some geek geeks, they would also be there to, you know, like to explore new stuff all over the world. And also, we have some previous, because our first generation cell robot, we've already, you know, like accumulated some a basis of the backers and some audience from our MailChimp account. So we have some audiences before, and before that, we also have some great partners all over the world, and they are very glad to write some reports for us, and then, you know, like do some. I would say like do some cooperation to test the market, because, you know, like even if the product is very cool, we still need to, you know, like this kind of propaganda stuff to, you know, like get the message, you know, like delivered to as many as possible people, because we would like them to hear the news, to understand that we are having Clicbot to, you know, like launching very soon, and that's pretty important for Kickstarter. But I believe Kickstarter itself is already a very great, you know, like platform. But all we need is a little bit more. Yeah.
Right. So was there anything that stood out in the campaign that you guys maybe weren't expecting? Was there maybe a country that, you know, we had a whole bunch of orders in, you know, Germany, or just anything that was kind of maybe not expected, or something that sort of stuck out a little bit for you?
Oh, very interesting. I would say, okay, cool. So, the country that's have the best performance would be Japan, because after Kickstarter, I would say like more than 10 Japanese companies have already reached out to us and want to be, you know, like the distributor. Even the exclusive one. So to that point, we've noticed that although, you know, like Japanese, they don't use English, but they still have, you know, like a lot of the passion for the new technology, and that's where we started. So after Kickstarter, we would go to the Makuraki. That's the crowdfunding platform in Japan, to continue the good trend of Clicbot, you know, like going to the market and then, you know, like creating some big buzz to the market. And that's one point. And then another thing that we didn't expecting, but that's a good thing, that's Europe, like Clicbot is doing pretty well in the whole European market. I've been in Europe like for a year personally, so I understand that for EU it's pretty different from the States, because lots of countries, they are in the EU community, and that brings Clicbot to a broader market, even if like I would say, except for the Britain, none of the countries in Europe actually uses English as their official language. But it doesn't stop the you know, like the fact that Europeans, they love Clicbot and they would like to get Clicbot by themselves as well. So we've had pretty good performance in EU markets as well.
That's cool. That's cool.
So these two parts.
That's awesome. So, you know, throughout that Kickstarter campaign, and even maybe where you are right now, what's something that maybe keeps you or the company up at night? Like, what's the thing that, like, you know, hey, everything's looking great, but we have to make sure that this happens. What's that thing that maybe keeps you up a little bit?
All right. Yeah. So I'm being like pretty frankly to you. So, fact is that we are concerning about the, yes, it's not delayed by the coronavirus, but it's already affected by the virus, like in the factory side, in the manufacturing side. So we would like to make sure that everything, like the quality control stuff, because, you know, like the workers, they got stored up by the virus. They cannot go back to the factory. So the manufacturing is a little bit affected, but, and we would like to make sure that all the materials, you know, like all the skills, like on the manufacturing, the production line, they would remain the high quality. Everything would be fun as we, you know, like ordered or designed previously before the virus before the outbreak. So
Right.
that's the thing that, like we spend a lot of time these days to make sure everything is fine. Obviously, some things have to be changed because, the workers or the materials, but we would like to make sure that everything is still of the high quality to get Clicbot as perfect as we designed before.
That's awesome. Yeah. So let's talk about, campaign is over, so if you want to go check it out, you got to go to Kickstarter and click the button and to learn more and stuff. But what starts to happen now that money starts coming into your accounts? What does this next year look like in terms of getting those first orders to backers? Like what starts happening for you guys?
First of all, we'd like to give the greatest thank you to all the backers because we cannot make it without all of your support. And then after Kickstarter, we actually moved on to Indiegogo. So that's the pre-order stage. And Indiegogo is just like a transition because we are moving on to Amazon very soon. I would say in roughly in July or August, we can have Clicbot on Amazon platform, meaning that our consumers would be able to purchase Clicbot there as well. And then we're thinking about getting broader cooperation with all the distributors from either Russia or Germany, and we have some others from Hong Kong and Australia as well. So Clicbot is getting attention all over the world, and we believe that by working deeply with the local distributors, we can get to the market better and understand our users better because for different languages and for different, preferences, to have the local partners would save us more time and to provide better service to our consumers.
Cool. And how about maybe what does the next 5 years look like for Clicbot? Is it something that you guys feel like this is just it can continue to grow, more modulars, it can just get bigger and smoother, but what do you guys sort of project these next maybe 5 years looking like, even though that's very challenging because nobody would have predicted coronavirus a few months ago, but what would you guys sort of predict is going to happen in this in your ecosystem for products?
Yeah, very cool. I totally understand your concerns. And like you said before, we are humans, so we cannot really, forecast the future, but we can look into the future and expect great things. So for Clicbot, in the following years, I would like to guarantee all the, all the backers or anyone who is interested in the product that we would continue support this product. We would have more modules, different designs, and to provide more functions and capabilities for the Clicbot. And then we would introduce, and it's already on the roadmap as well. So we would introduce the deep learning technology to have more, greater algorithms to have the precise controlling and then more intelligent movements for the robot itself. And then you mentioned ecosystem. We've already had the design and the concept for the curriculums to have the support, to have the sustainable, support for Clicbot. It's not just one product. It can come with, all the courses or the training or the competitions as well. And then we would be very happy to do, more development on the app itself as well, because, everything is the combination of the hardware and software. Right. If you just have cool design for the product itself, but no support for the software, I think it's not enough. So what we would do is to have, more contents and better community for the Clicbot Academy app as well.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. So where can people dive in more? I mean, you got the Indiegogo InDemand, but how can people kind of dive into what you guys are doing? Maybe follow you on social media. Where should people go?
Great. So we have the lots of social media platforms, including Facebook, and like people can just use the keyword "sell robot." That's the first generation name, "sell robot," and to find us. And then we are also on YouTube. We have our YouTube channel as well. That's called Beijing KI Technology. And then we have the Instagram account as well. That's called "sell robot." And after that, we would have our official website, and it's coming online very soon. It's under the development because we would like to, like integrate the purchase, the payment system, and then to bring the brand new website to our backers. And currently, it's just the beta version. But later we would have the better, mature design for Clicbot official website as well. That's
awesome.
That's where you guys can find us.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. So I've been closing out these new episodes, or my latest episodes, I should say, with just some kind of quick questions because, we're all kind of stuck in. So I've been asking a few questions around. So what TV shows are you watching right now?
TV shows. Modern Family, I'd say.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. How about a movie that you're watching? Like a movie. What's the latest movie you watched?
The latest movie? That's a tricky question because I've been, got stuck in work and I really don't get time to watch movies. I think Modern Family is already enough for me.
That's feeling it. Okay, that's feeling it. How about, has there been a book that you've read lately?
The book. I've been reading The Walden Lake. Yeah, The Walden Lake. Because, during the lockdown period, I feel myself through. I would like to get isolated from, all the urban stuff and get dived into, the natural stuff as well. Yeah.
All right. How about, is there a favorite website that you go to maybe read stuff, learn stuff about marketing maybe, or just, is there a favorite website that you recommend?
Oh, very cool. So normally I would just, check the Google News and to see what's on these days. And then I would choose the, subtopics and then to go to different websites. I don't really have a preference for the marketing website because, I believe the fact that you can learn everything from, all the resources. You don't really want to limit yourself on one website.
Okay. How about, now I know you're obviously listening to this podcast all the time, but is there any other podcasts you might be listening to right now?
Cool. That's going to be a little bit boring compared with yours because to be honest, I listen to Goldman Sachs and I listen to Wall Street Journal. I listen to BBC, CNN, and they are mainly news stuff. But when it comes to, fun stuff, I always choose yours.
Oh, well, of course. Thank you. Awesome. All right. Well, everybody, I got to recommend you guys go check out Clicbot. Really, really cool stuff here. The Kickstarter was all truly successful. I'm following from the on the Indiegogo InDemand side right now. So I'm going to put all this stuff in the show notes, so make sure you guys go and click this around. But I appreciate you taking time out of your day and chat with my listeners about Clicbot and what you guys do over there because it's awesome product. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Jeff. I wish you have a nice one.
Yeah,
thank you all the listeners. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks.
Wishes. Yeah. Kind regards.